Hey, school bus here. So it's been a while since I have done, well, really any videos other than the live streams, let alone any of the Ace Tanker videos. And today, I finally have one in the Strv-103. Now, I think there are several things we can learn from this game that, although it's not a particularly exciting one, especially as I went back and watched it again, and admittedly as I played it, there really was no moment where I thought it was going to be an Ace Tanker. And part of that is, you'll see at the end, that I made out well with my blind shots. And maybe that's an additional extra point of what sometimes you want to do with TDs. If you're pretty sure there's a tank there, go ahead and take a shot, as long as your reload isn't too long. But I digress. I don't enjoy playing TDs most of the time. I don't play them well, nor do I enjoy them. And it's probably a cause and effect relationship that actually goes the other way, that because I don't like playing them, I don't take the time to really get good at them. And part of the reason I don't like to play them is they feel a bit, in most cases, like a one-trick pony, that all of the ability to scout and be maneuverable, etc., is lost because it's all focused on the capability of the gun, whether it be a high alpha, high accuracy, a little bit of both. Things are compromised. And what I like about the Swedish TDs is that they still maintain some level of ability to do other things. And we're going to see that in this game. We're going to see it operating as a TD, like I'm doing here right now. We're going to see it operate as a bit of a scout. And we're going to see how it is very lousy as a medium tank, I guess I'll call it, at one point. But this game goes in a series of excitement, and then things get kind of quiet. So right now I'm just trying to take advantage of playing the hill here and getting side shots into the heavies and the armored TDs moving up into position. Now you'll see I just made a misplay where I wasn't paying close attention, and I didn't actually see it until I watched the replay myself, was that tortoise had been spotted previously. I don't know if I would have had any shots on him, but I didn't even go looking. So that was a misplay on my part, because possibly, most likely, he would be dead now if I had been paying attention. So I'm going to work here as long as I can, but what I'm not doing is I'm not paying attention to the map and noticing that I have been flanked. And I, despite the Sixth Sense going off, I decide to wait there and try and take one more shot. Ends up being a miss, and I essentially will proceed to lose the better part of half my hit points, actually a little over half my hit points, because I did not move out of that position sooner. So just because it's an Ace Tanker doesn't mean that you're going to see absolute unicum gameplay. So now we're moving into kind of the second phase of the battle. We're through this initial taking advantage of getting the jump on the enemy. Now I'm trying to find myself a good spot that provides camo, ideally a double bush scenario, which we have here, and we need to protect the cap. So my biggest concern is going to be getting spotted and getting hit by artillery. Most of the tanks that are coming this way, my armor should do a pretty good job of protecting me. The S tank is great against anything but the really, really big bore guns, as long as you're at some range. The weakness of this tank is the commander's hatch can be sniped, but that's only if they are close enough to be able to accurately hit it, and the bushes and everything is going to kind of throw off their ability to really aim at it in the first place. They'll see the silhouette. That's all that they would have. So now we wait. Take a shot here, but misplay on my part. I fired a little bit too high and went into his turret. Those things those Panzers have a pretty serious turret on them, as I'm sure you're all well aware. So now that I'm spotted, I'm trying to move around a little bit, but I'm definitely taking a risk here, not doing a full relocation. Artillery could blind fire my last seen location and they would still get some damage on me. But we're getting some good shots now. So I'm liking where I'm sitting here. It's working well that if any enemies push, I have the ability to defend this position. Also appears that in the east, our boys are winning the day over there. Now what is about to happen is the classic thing you see on some of these corridor maps that open up into a wider expanse once you win said corridor, and they're going to do a little bit of lemming training in, and it's going to be unfortunate. This game ends up being a lot closer than what you would think based on the stats right now. I warned you, it's not a particularly exciting game, but it does have a lot of learning elements to it. Don't be part of the lemming train that I just explained there. If I were the commander of the whole map, I would have said, win that flank, now come back and defend base, and then we'll push up the west side. But, yeah, that doesn't exactly happen. But I'm staying busy here. I mean, I would not want to be sitting here and just parking. I'm staying busy. We are continuing to get attacked on all flanks, but that is something that I'm consciously considering this whole time, is at what point should I move. Now, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I missed and then somebody else got the kill, or if my shell just didn't quite make it there in time, and server lag caused me to not get that kill, but I felt kind of cheated out of that kill. It felt like I got cheated when I was playing the game live, but when I watched the replay, I really felt cheated. So now I do a little bit of a relocation. For two reasons. One, I want to get into as good of a position as possible to support this 705, although, as you can imagine, looking at the last spotted positions of the enemy, he's he's marching to his doom, and he's already done. So now the enemy's almost evened this up. Not quite, but almost. They're certainly winning in terms of artillery coverage, which is unfortunate. Now this is where I take some of my blind shots. So I can see clearly where the Badger was at. I know what elevation he is at because I know where the ridge line is. And I was able to use the map to align my windage. So I believe we will see in the post-game stats that yes, I definitely did land at least one hit on him there. I think it was just one because there's 2 hits against him. Another one is yet to come later. Spoiler alert. Now the notion of moving completely to a new spot is weighing very heavily on me, because we can see that the enemy is holding us down in 3 key spots. Artillery is roughing me up a bit here. So yeah, I think it's time to move. And I apparently was not paying attention. I was talking about something else when the Centurion made the run on the base, and I was able to pivot and take him out. That was actually one of my more favorite moves of the game. Ah yes, I sit in this bush for just a little bit, but pretty quickly decide that, okay, time to move into the 3rd phase of the battle. And this is what I love about the Strv-103-0 TDs, is that they are mobile enough that you can use them as a scout. Now you're limited in a couple of ways. One, you're typically not as camouflaged, but too bad. And you don't have very good view range when you're moving. But if you can just move from one bush to another bush, put the binocs up, take a look, and then move again, it works pretty well. You can't do this with, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say 90% of the TDs. This just isn't something that you can do. Something like the Hellcat or the T-67, yeah, that's something you could do with those, but not with most of the higher tier TDs. So now I've got this guy lit, I've got a good shot, and I managed to do it without even getting lit, which is even more awesome. So now we'll just continue on here. I'm pretty confident that with him dead, there is no one covering the north. That'll be evidenced by the fact that I just kind of go out across the top of the ridge here. I think the enemy had a pretty good strategy there of they had 3 tanks all in critical positions covering the main choke points for map crossing from east to west. Now we've eliminated that, and now I can move along the north. And hopefully the rest of the team will do something. The only one that I would have liked earlier to maybe have been a bit more aggressive was the Leopard, but I don't think he was doing so well on hit points, and I guess I can forgive his lack of pushing a particular front. And now the enemy is going on the offensive, but they're now facing the same problem that our team did earlier, where moving into a defended position is going to be suicide. So now I'm just looking for Artie, and this is where there's another weakness with this tank, and it's its traverse speed. Now right here, get set up, I can take my first shot, but now I'm just waiting to get pounded by the Artie. This was the longest reload I've experienced in a long time. It was no longer than any other reload, but that felt like forever waiting for that next shot to come up. And now I'm trying to get behind this rock as quickly as I can because I know that the other artillery is over here. But where exactly? And once I find him, what am I going to do about it? Because this tank has painfully slow traverse speed, even with the upgraded suspension. So there he is, but no time to shoot him. I've just got to get around the other side, but it becomes very obvious his traverse and the fact that he has a turret is going to make this very, very difficult. Now right here, I have a chance. I don't want to switch the suspension mode, but if you hit the brakes, it'll dip the nose just enough, but unfortunately it wasn't, my windage was off and I missed. By this point, my strategy has become kill enough time that the Leopard can come help me. There's just no point in suiciding, and I've had a bad run of games lately where in end game scenarios a seemingly easy win was lost because everybody just lemming trained in front of the Artie, or usually it's the Artie and one other tank. This would be a pretty extreme game throwing if the rest of my team missed this. The Artie stays trained on me, makes an easy shot for the Leopard, and there it is. There is the Strv-103 ace tanker. Let's go look at the post-game stats. Take a look at how much additional damage shows up. So I believe not only did I get the blind shot on the Badger, but I also got a blind shot on the M48 Patton. So yeah, really good damage results on this. For me personally, clearing 5,000 might be an all-time record. It would definitely be in my top 3. High damage is not typically something that that's a strong suit for me. But if there's a tank to do it in, this is it. And so I leave you with the wisdom that the Strv can be a fairly well-rounded TD. It's got ability for armor use. It's got the ability to be mobile, and it's got one hell of a gun. Have a great day. I'll see you on the battlefield.